Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here at PAS. My name is Arun and I'm the Corporate Vice President of the Power BI Engineering team here at Redmond. My team also builds SQL Server Analysis Services, Azure Analysis Services, and SQL Server Reporting Services, all of the business intelligence platform products here at Microsoft. So I'm going to talk to you about a vision and roadmap. I'm going to be joined by my colleague Amir Netz, who's a technical fellow and CTO, and he's going to go into the details of the roadmap and show you some exciting capabilities that are available today, as well as ones that we're working on. So let's get started. One of the things that is top of mind for a lot of you is how the world has changed with COVID. And Satya said it best when he said, we've seen 2 years of digital transformation in just 2 months. So everything pretty much changed at once. The way individuals work changed with everybody working remotely. The way that teams work changed, where all of the collaboration is happening virtually, and the way organizations work changed as all of their employees are accessing precious corporate data from outside of the corporate firewall. And many of these changes we know are permanent. Things are not going to go back to the way things were once we get the pandemic under control. So when we think about Power BI, we do realize that the way that people work with data must change as well. And we really think about it as 3 things. One is about empowering every individual, second about empowering every team, and third, ensuring that we empower every organization so there's trust in working with data. And this is how we think about driving a data culture, where we really want to empower every single employee, make every decision at any scale with data. And that's what Power BI is all about. Power BI continues its growth on a really accelerated trajectory. So Power BI was launched and became generally available a little bit more than 5 years ago. And what you see on the right-hand side is the monthly active usage chart of Power BI since the day we launched. And as you can see, it's an exponential curve. This is the 5th year of paid triple-digit usage growth. Power BI is today used by over 250,000 customers from over 180 countries around the world. And if you look at Power BI Desktop, it has really grown to become the world's most popular tool for working with data from a business intelligence perspective. We have over 2 million developers who use Power BI Desktop on a monthly basis. And as you know, it's completely free. It's really a product that customers love. And when you look at Power BI Mobile, the usage numbers are even more stunning. Power BI Mobile is rated at 4.7 on the iOS App Store and 4.8 on Google. We've put a ton of care into amazing user experiences when people are on the go. And if you look at the number of reviews that Power BI Mobile has on the iOS or Android store, you will see that it has something like 50 times as many reviews as all of the other BI tools combined. Power BI has developed a massive community around the world. The level of excitement and the participation of our members in Power BI is just simply amazing. Today, we have over 1.3 million members of the Power BI community. We have over 280 user groups around the world. And one of the things that I really care about is how deeply involved the Power BI community is in shaping of our product. So if you go to ideas.powerbi.com, you'll find over 20,000 ideas that our community members have come up with or voted on that they want us to go build. And we in the Power BI team take that very seriously. We're constantly looking at the top voted ideas, and we're constantly trying to make sure that we build them and we ship them on a weekly basis in the Power BI service and on a monthly basis with a new release of Power BI Desktop. Power BI has a massive global footprint. It's available today in 43 different languages. It's available in 50 data centers around the world, including 3 national clouds, US, Germany, and China. We've invested in a host of certifications that really allow you to confidently use Power BI regardless of your industry or your geographic location. Which is why when Gartner came up with their Magic Quadrant in February this year, they put Power BI clearly as the leader, front and center on both axes, ahead of all of the other BI players. And Forrester as well, when they came up with their Forrester Wave in August last year, they did the same thing. They put Microsoft Power BI as the clear leader on both axes. This is why more and more organizations today are really standardizing on Power BI. You'll find customers moving from a fragmented BI infrastructure, getting rid of legacy or expensive BI products and getting into a single integrated BI platform with Power BI. It's because of the leading BI capabilities that Power BI has. It's also because Power BI has invested deeply in trust and governance, especially when people are working in a remote environment with remote data, so that customers have confidence in bringing their data to Power BI. And lastly, it's because of the awesome economics that Power BI provides. Power BI is typically anywhere from 25% to 30% of the price of alternative BI platforms. So customers can save a ton of money by moving from competitive BI platforms to Power BI. And you see that happening around the world. Today, over 97% of the Fortune 500 use Power BI. In many cases, they have standardized on Power BI with hundreds of thousands of users. In some cases, they already have Power BI being used in some departments, and it's growing like wildfire. And I just wanted to call out 3 quick examples. The first is T-Mobile. T-Mobile really moved from a multitude of BI platforms into Power BI, and they eliminated a number of expensive legacy BI systems. Humana, which is a Fortune 50 company, healthcare company in the US, really had some massive savings as well. They're moving from 47 different systems to just Power BI plus Azure data. And you see the same story with Electrolux, where they're really betting on Power BI to drive a data culture across the organization. So let me share a few thoughts in terms of the areas of investment and where we are going with our vision. The first is data culture really is about everyone. We want to empower every single individual so that they get instantly familiar experiences that are very much like Office, but they're infused with AI insights so that you can automatically discover patterns in your data. The second area we're investing in is really empowering every single team. And here it's about 3 things. First is making sure that Power BI is simply built into your collaboration platform. So we've done a lot of work to integrate Power BI just natively into Teams so that the insights are available exactly where your users are as they share and collaborate. Second is we have integrated Power BI very deeply into Office. For example, if you're using Excel, Power BI datasets are just natively integrated so you can discover them, use them, build pivot tables. All of the data is trusted, certified, and completely refreshed. And lastly, it's important that you can move from insight to action to automation. And that's where we've really invested in deeply integrating Power BI with its sister products, Power Apps and Power Automate and Power Virtual Agent, so you can complete the feedback loop and really take your insights and translate them into action. The third area we're investing in is really to help Power BI scale to meet your most demanding enterprise BI needs, to scale to support hundreds of thousands of users. And here we have a comprehensive set of investments, everything from deep integration with the Azure Data Stack to self-service data prep directly on Azure Data Lake to enterprise-grade semantic models, pixel-perfect operational reporting, real-time analytics, application lifecycle management, and so much more. So Amir's going to talk to you about all of these capabilities and introduce you to some of the capabilities that we're going to ship in the next few months. So I'm going to transition over to Amir Netz, our Technical Fellow and Chief Technical Officer. Amir, over to you.
Thank you, Arun. I'm really excited to talk about the vision and roadmap for Power BI because it is very exciting. As we think about Power BI, we're thinking about, you mentioned the framework of the 3 circles, and we start with the individual because we believe that data culture is about everybody and everyone in the organization. And this is where the individual experiences with the product are really playing a central role. This is where we are focusing on making the product instantly familiar. And we're also making sure that when people are using it, they're getting instant insight with the power of AI. So an area we've been investing for the last few years very heavily is making sure that when people download Power BI desktop and they start creating their reports, their experiences feel so much like PowerPoint. They just need to feel at home from the very first moment. They don't need to get to classes. They don't have to go through extensive training because it feels like just a natural part of Office. Everything you know about PowerPoint, everything you know about Excel just immediately translates to Power BI. So this is a Power BI desktop, and it's kind of constantly getting improved with more and more capabilities that are PowerPoint lines. So you see in this video, for example, the quick creation of charts, the red guidelines that are helping you to align the visuals together, the theming, and so forth. So just very, very familiar. But it's more than that. The area we've been investing heavily in the last few years is the infusion of AI into the visuals themselves, making the visuals so intelligent that they can just reveal the insights automatically for you, and being able to answer questions that the authors of the report wouldn't even know what to ask. So for example, this in here, you can see the key influencer. The key influencers give you the key drivers for each one of the drivers for the measure, or Q&A with natural language query that allow you to ask unforeseen questions, or with the decomposition tree here that allows you to smartly navigate from and drill down to find the root cause analysis. Users love these kind of capabilities. We have 80,000 customers and a growth in the usage of about 240% year over year just for these features. One of the things that we are really excited is the introduction of smart narratives and anomaly detection. I'm going to let Justina show us smart narrative. It is so cool.
The new Smart Narratives capability that's being released in Power BI this month allows me to add elements of storytelling to my reports. I can start with summarizing a single visual on the page, and Power BI is going to automatically analyze the data behind the visual and generate me a narrative. In this case, we have a time series chart, so Power BI is focusing on doing trend analysis and automatically doing things like calculating growth, as well as interesting trends. I can also generate a summary for the entire report page leveraging the new Smart Narratives visual. In this case now, we're actually generating a narrative that goes across all 4 visualizations that we see on the page. This summary is fully formatable, so if I went ahead and did some tweaks, I could make it look like the summary that you're seeing over here. And not only can I customize things like the colors and the fonts, but I can actually write my own commentary here as well. So if I want to write a statement about returns, I can simply type returns amounted to. Now at this point, I don't want to insert a static value. I want to write something dynamic that's going to get recalculated when my data refreshes. So what we've actually done is we've infused the Q&A capabilities into the Smart Narratives visual for being able to create dynamic calculations. I can simply type in natural language sum of returns, and now Q&A is going to return me the answer to my question rather than a visualization. I can simply save this, and now we're actually creating a dynamic calculation that's going to get recalculated as my data refreshes. But what if I want to just get some insights, for example, for my outdoor products, rather than everything that's going on in the page? I can simply select outdoor products in this visualization over here, and of course all of my visualizations update, and so does my automatically generated summary, as well as any commentary that I added. So we can see that the amount of returns has now updated to 11,000 from 26,000 we had overall. Finally, we're really excited to announce that anomaly detection is coming to Power BI in just a couple of months. In this visualization, we're looking at revenue by date, and what I may want to do is simply enrich this with automatic anomaly detection. We can see that by clicking Find Anomalies, we have added a confidence interval as well as any anomalies that we have found in the visualization. And this is fully customizable, so I can do things like change the shape of the anomaly, change the color, and even change the sensitivity to determine how sensitive I want the algorithm to be when finding anomalies. At any point I want to learn more about one of these anomalies, I can simply select this, which is going to pop up the explanations pane. And Power BI is going to run some analysis on my data model to try and find plausible explanations for this anomaly. I can even refine these explanations by being able to add my own fields from the data model, which I want to restrict the analysis to. So in this case, I'm only going to select seller and I'm going to select city. And now I'm going to try and look for anomalies again. In this case, we can see Power BI has restricted the search page just to my city and seller, and now I can start exploring these explanations to try and get a better understanding of what's going on in my data.
This is incredibly exciting. Smart narratives have just shipped in the last couple of weeks, and anomaly detection is about to ship a preview as well. So just encourage you all to try it out and get a feel for these incredibly sophisticated and exciting features. The next part, when we're talking about the vision for Power BI, is really the ability to empower the teams. We want every time a team makes a decision to be able to make the decision using data. And this is really a story of 3 different types of interactions teams have. The first one is around collaboration. This is where the importance of working with teams. You know, we are changed completely our habits. Most of us are working from home. Most of us are collaborating with other team members online, and there is no other product in the enterprise that is as popular and as mission critical to this as Microsoft Teams. And we recognize that the change in habits of how we work are not just temporary, something that will just disappear. We are all going to continue to meet and collaborate online using Microsoft Teams nonstop. And this is where Power BI really made maybe the most significant design change that we had since the inception of the product. And this is to rehome Power BI into Teams. And we're really bringing the full Power BI capabilities into Teams. So you find the homepage in the team, you're going to find the data that you're looking for, the report that you're looking for, everything that you know from powerbi.com is showing up into Teams and much more. It's really seamlessly integrated to many of the other team experiences. So to walk us through that, I'm going to ask Pat to give us a demo.
When we talk about empowering every team with data, it really starts with where so many of us are working today, which is inside of Microsoft Teams. So we've really thought about how do we weave BI into the fabric of how we collaborate inside of Teams. And it really starts with the ability to just take Power BI reports and pin them inside of the Teams channels that you're working in. And so here I've pinned my pipeline by account dashboard right in my sales marketing channel. So now everybody in this team has all the data that they need to stay on top of their goals and understand what's going on in their day-to-day work life, in an easy accessible location right inside of one of their Teams channels. But it really goes much deeper than this. So if I come up to my activity feed here, you can see I'm getting alerts that new Power BI tabs have been added inside of channels, but also this link right here from Alex Wilbur, who's asking me a question. Why did Mondopolis have such a large gap to quota? She included this link that if I follow it, it's going to take me back into a Power BI report, but keep me right inside of Teams. Now, what's really cool about these links, and I can do that by saying chat in Teams here. I can just kind of grab a link and start a conversation about it. But it keeps the same context. So when Alex had asked me this question, she had Mondopolis cross-highlighted in this report, and that filter context traveled through that link. So when I clicked on it, it took me back to the exact same context that Alex had when she asked the question. Now she's trying to understand, what's going on with the pipeline for this account, and I think I have that answer, but it happens to be in a different Power BI report. So I'm going to go look that up. So I'm going to go to my Power BI home here. Now, something really special just happened. Instead of taking me to powerbi.com, it kept me fully inside of the Teams experience. So now with this new Power BI personal app, I have the full capabilities of Power BI natively inside of Teams. So I can access all of the different featured content that my organization has, so they can promote certified and the best content that I want inside my organization, and really find it all without having to ever leave Teams. And this app's really great for people just getting started as well. So we have the full learn capabilities and tutorials and documentation, even access to the Power BI community, all built into this app to really help everyone get started with data and join in a data culture and build a data culture within their organization. Additionally, we've started pulling in data from Microsoft and the Power BI community. So not only do you have data from your organization, you also have interesting data about your world. So in this case, we're pulling in COVID data, demographic data, and some other kind of interesting data from the Power BI community. So this can be really a data hub for where you can kind of find all different kinds of data and really start thinking about how to use data in your day-to-day decision making. But if I come back to the question Alex had, I think this Power BI app that's been shared with me for customer churn and risk tracking, is a great way to dig into that question, like what's going on with this account? Because I think there might be something going on, fundamentally with this account, not just the sales pipeline. So when I open this report, I can see, an assessment of churn risk by customers, and I see Mondopolis actually sticking out here. And the great thing about Power BI apps is it can bring together lots of different types of information. So in addition to this report, they've also included this Excel workbook inside the app as well, where people are capturing active service incidents and notes about those, which is kind of better formatted and easier to follow inside of Excel. But it can all be bundled up together right inside of Power BI. So I can think about distributing not just Power BI content, but also Excel content connected to data right inside of Power BI and now right inside of Teams. And if I come back to this churn risk dashboard that's inside of this app, I can dig into what exactly is going on with Mondopolis. So I'm going to drill in here to what's going on with this specific account. So when I drill through to these details, I see something kind of pop up that's kind of interesting here in terms of the product service interactions are going down, but I also see all these customer service incidents are really spiking up and they're at a level where we think that customer's probably not very satisfied, which might help explain why some of the expectations for the sales pipeline might not be following through. And so now I can go ahead and just say chat in Teams, because I'm going to let Alex know that maybe she wants to check out this report. So I got Alex here, and I can say, hey, check out the customer return dashboard / incidents for Moondrop list. And then go ahead and share that with her. And then that same link will take her right back to the same location inside of Teams, inside of Power BI. And we really think about how that can really drive this really rich collaboration fully inside the Teams, now with the full capabilities of Power BI baked all the way into Teams.
So you've seen the full integration of Power BI into Team. We actually think it's going to be incredibly empowering for the whole organization to find all their insights just one click away in their favorite collaboration tool, and find the reports inside their channels, and many more experiences are coming into Teams as well. So we actually believe that most of the users of Power BI will eventually transition to working with Power BI inside Team. But
when we talk about
we are not just satisfied with that. One of the other things that we are adding into Teams is the ability for end users to create their reports immediately without having to become experts in Power BI. So instead of downloading the Power BI desktop and learning how to use it, instant report creation from any data that you have, data that could be in the clipboard, data that could be in Excel sheet, is available directly inside Teams. So every end users can immediately go start exploring the data of using the Power BI technology without becoming an author. So let's take a look at again. We have here, so you're just going to go select enter data. You're going to paste the data that you have in Excel, and you're just going to copy, you're going to paste it in. You're going to select the first row as the header. You're going to press enter, and you are done. Basically, an automatic report being generated for you, and you have control on the content of the report. What do you want to summarize by? Which measures, which attributes you want to summarize by? Just like that, within seconds, a full report created for any business users. Another very, very exciting element that we are adding to Teams is the data set center. And this is where we will collect for you all the data sets that you have access to. We allow you to look at them, browse them, see the ownership of those, even create reports from templates, or create reports in Excel, all of that directly within Teams. All the data are just in front of you, so you never have to even leave Teams in order to go and create or analyze or just understand where the data is coming from. Very, very exciting innovation. And we're also working on making sure that publishing a new data source is going to be a breeze, a couple of clicks operation, just like click create of reports. So we talk about the collaboration aspect and how Teams is very central to that experience. Now let's talk about the productivity aspect. This is where the other Office products are central. Power BI is really becoming another organ of the Office family. We're looking at at Power BI and how people work with the data in Power BI. You'll see that we are starting to show up as a regular Office document. You'll find us in the Office portal through the search experiences. You'll find us in the recent document that you explored. Everything that you know about Office and how you use Office in the Office portal is applicable to Power BI. But it's not just the ability to treat Power BI as an Office document. It really is impacting the usage of data in the existing Office applications. For example, in Excel, this is where we're making it incredibly easy to access data. For example, if you want to go and collect data from Power BI, it's just one click away in the pivot tables, and you find here all the data coming from Power BI. You can find the certification of the data, who authored it, when it was last refreshed. You don't need to know connection string. You don't need to know password. You don't need to know URLs. Excel natively knows where Power BI is and immediately give you the ability to connect and create your own pivot tables based on those data sets that you have published in Power BI, of course protected with access right and row level security. But we are taking it even further. Pivot tables, of course, and integration of pivot tables with with the BI technology of Microsoft is all news. We've been doing it for decades. But the very, very exciting development is the introduction of enterprise data types. Enterprise data types allow Excel to understand the content on the page in the cells and then bind it to Power BI data sets. So in this case, we're looking at customers, and Excel was able to connect to Power BI and identify these as customer names and immediately allow you to now pull more data from the Power BI data sets. And it's just simple autofill that that connects the cells in your worksheet to the Power BI data set, and you can do the regular operations such as formatting, filtering, creating formulas with it. Incredibly easy to use, leveraging the natural capabilities of Excel and the natural work habits of the users, but all with data connected. And of course, it stays protected, it stays connected, the data is always fresh. The cells are just becoming super smart cells. So we are very, very excited about the integration of Power BI with the Office applications. The last area, an incredibly strategic and important area of integration, is where we are connecting and making sure that the insights of the teams are actionable. So what does it mean to turn insight into action? Well, it actually it's all about the Power Platform. The Power Platform, if you're not familiar with it, is our suite of apps that allow everyone to become an application creator without writing a single line of code. This is our low-code, no-code platform, and if you know how to use Power BI, you kind of already realize you can build these amazing insight applications without writing a single line of code. But I really encourage you to look at Power Apps, which allows you to build OLTP applications without a single line of code, very similar to Power BI. Power Automate is allowing you to automate business processes in a very easy to use way using templates and flowcharts. And Power Virtual Agents allows you to build your own bots, and all of this without having to write a single line of code, with getting results so fast and things that are just incredibly slick. Now, this is really a platform that is designed to work together. It really is a suite, and especially when we bring it all into teams, this is where things are becoming very interesting. It is also something that we at Microsoft believe is going to be gigantic. If you look at the official Microsoft Cloud slide, this is how Microsoft described the Microsoft Cloud. You can see that you find that there's usual suspects such as Microsoft Office 365 or Microsoft Azure, but also Microsoft Power Platform. We believe that the Power Platform is going to be as important and as impactful as those other products that are peers in the Microsoft Cloud. So we really encourage you not just to engage in Power BI, but to really understand the full power of the platform, of the suite, especially when we integrate it with Teams. So to kind of get a feel for how the suite looks together, I'm going to run you this bit like commercial, but I think it gives you a sense of why this is so exciting. So let's go with it.
More than ever, businesses are looking for ways to be agile and save time and money. Microsoft Teams is a rich platform for work, offering so much more than just chat, meetings, and calling. With Power Platform in Teams, it's also a place where anyone can develop simple yet powerful low-code solutions that simplify work right within Teams. Power Apps is a low-code app-building platform that lets you easily create, edit, and publish apps directly to Teams, allowing you to simplify work across any device. Now, anyone can benefit from AI-powered natural language-capable bots made right in Teams. Power Virtual Agents makes chatbots easy to create and scale across your organization. You can automate processes like approvals, reminders, and even robust enterprise-grade workflows using the Power Automate app. And turn your insights into action with a new Power BI app that lets you quickly find, share, and create data visualizations right within Teams. With Teams and Microsoft Power Platform, your opportunities to simplify work are endless, making it easier than ever to bring people together and achieve more.
So it really is incredibly exciting. It really is a suite that is designed together to build complete solutions. You can start with an app that generates data. You analyze the data, you find patterns, you automate the patterns that feeds more insights into your app and so forth. And you create this virtual cycle of actions and data and insight that is really going to be transformative. It's really going to change how organizations work. Now, we have been working, all the time, constantly to really integrate those applications together. And you already know that we have the ability to insert these Power Apps into Power BI applications, which is very, very exciting. If you think about it, it's like the demos that were done in the 90s, showing how people get excited when you can insert an Excel chart into a Word document. We're doing the same kind of demos. You can insert a Power App into a Power BI report, or you can do the other way around. You can insert a Power BI report into a Power App just as easily. And the cool thing about it is that all these things are fully interactive. So the data, the context of the report, the context of the app is flowing between the apps and the report. So it all kind of makes sense together very much. We're continuing with this integration work by introducing the ability to create automation flows directly from within your Power BI report. You can just follow a template. In this case, we're looking at this using MailChimp to send campaign based on the selections that you make in your Power BI report. So you just author the automation flow directly from within the report. And then when you're done, you can bind that automation to the button there. In this case, you see the start campaign. You can select a subset of your population. In this case, we're looking just at South region. You can start the campaign, and now the campaign is now triggering all the action in MailChimp for the subset of the population that you were looking for. So bringing all these products together, integrating them deeply, and you can find one product inside the other product. It's incredibly, incredibly exciting. Now, what we're seeing is that the companies are not just picking up Power BI. They're realizing the power of the integration across the whole Power Platform, and they're really starting to standardize around around all these products together. So you can see the best brand names in the business are really picking up all these products together and using them and creating a center of excellence where people who know all these products are coming together to create these integrated solutions. And this is really important because we are seeing, and this is kind of moving from the product and the business that we have into something that is a bit broader than that. We're seeing a real shift in society. We're seeing that professions that are, depending more on manual work, on repetitive tasks, are declining in demand, and there's a surging demand for high cognitive skills professions. And this is where, if you look at where all the jobs are going to come from, and we're talking about 150 million jobs that are going to be created by 2025, you can see a huge number of those are just in the information technology sector, like almost 100 million new software development jobs are going to be created. And you have to think to yourself, how do we create so many programmers? Is there a way to train, to send to college these kind of, this volume of people? There's just no way. We have to rethink. We have to rethink how software development is going to be done, how information technology is going to be executed on, and how can we take people and transition them from the old economy to the new economy. And this is what Microsoft has made a massive commitment. We are bringing, and we have something called the Microsoft Digital Skills Initiative, where we are committed to bringing 25 million people worldwide into the new economy by giving them more digital skills, and really allow people who would have never think of becoming software developers to bring them into this new economy. People who maybe have not even finished high school. And there is no better story to tell than the story of this security officer. Let's hear that one.
I don't just want to make a living, I want to make a difference. When I left school at 16, my dad was working in Heathrow at the time, and this opportunity came up as becoming a security officer. I thought, what a great opportunity, my dad used to take me here to see planes and everything. So why not work for a company or an airport like Heathrow? I've been a security officer for 13 years. When I saw the amount of paper and time we were spending, I saw an app would be a great solution for these problems to be solved. About a year ago, I started learning about the Microsoft programs. I went home and I looked at that blog from Power Apps, and it said, this is how you can build an app. And I thought, why didn't no one know this? Because this could have so much potential to change so many things. We have saved 11,000 sheets of paper and saved around 288 hours of manual input data. Going from paper to digital has been amazing. It doesn't matter what your skill levels are like, anybody can build this app.
Him with his community of super users have created 17 Power Apps that are already being used across our airport, and this is just the tip of the iceberg.
My name is Sam Saini, and I'm a IT user adoption specialist at Heathrow. There's no limit of what you can create with new technology. I'll create a new career.
Isn't it just amazing to see the impact of technology on people's life? I actually tear up every time I watch this video, and I watch it a lot of times. This is going to be big, and it's going to change the landscape in every organization. But it's more than that. You know, the really moving and getting insight across the whole organization is something that is a challenge. You know, to scale the data culture, to really empower hundreds of thousands of users to meet the most demanding enterprise needs means a massive collection of enterprise capabilities that is really oriented towards IT. These are the people who really have to worry about the scale, have to worry about governance, compliance, have to worry about user training, about processes, about duplication of data, about quality of data. And we have been building over the last 4 years, we have been building a massive set of capabilities that are really already proving to empower some of the largest organizations in the world and at massive, massive scale. So this has been a journey. We are constantly adding more capability to the journey. For example, the ability to do actionable impact analysis that allows you to go and understand where the data is coming from and where the data is going and what will happen if you're going to make a change, and it works across workspaces and integrated in desktop. An incredibly powerful capability that allows you to make sure that you're not creating wreaking havoc when you make changes to the artifacts upstream. Or if you want to make sure that you are protected from deploying bad applications, the full integration of lifecycle management is just directly available inside the Power BI service. Super easy to use. Super easy to use. You can do the diffs. You can create a development environment, test environment, production environment. Move the compare. Do the diffs between the environments. Move the artifact that you think that needs to be moved. Test them and then move them to production. So really a controlled environment that allows you to trust that you're not going to just blindly send a bad application to those tens of thousands of users that are going to be using it. And it's so easy to use. You don't need even to know anything about Azure DevOps or GitHub. This is just immediately available with this super friendly user interface. The work continues with the introduction of these data flows that are visual, that are available, making you understand the flow of the data in the data flow, so you can build these very sophisticated data prep workflows that are complex, are sophisticated, but still simple enough to understand through this very, very visual interface that we provide here. So it's a full power of data flows, the full power of Power Query, but in a very, very visual interface that makes the most complex data transformation problem easy to understand and easy to follow. One of the most exciting capabilities we are introducing, and in December, I think is the date where we are marked in our calendar to show it, is the composite model. There is nothing that represents more the balance of Power BI between central IT and the flexibility of self-service at the edge than composite models. Composite models allows IT to create a centralized enterprise semantic models that maybe contain the one version of the truth from IT's perspective, and extend those models with local information from the subsidiary, from the business unit, from the product line, and you don't have to copy the data. it really is allowing you to create this data virtualization of keeping the center rigid and the flexibility at the edge to allow you to personalize really the exact balance that you need between mode 1's IT-centered BI versus mode 2 self-service BI. So this is something that also is accompanied with some really, really cool user interface that shows you how you can join data models together. What you see here is two data models. The one in the red is coming from the sales model from IT. The one in the green is another model created by the finance department. And you can join them together and create this virtual model. You add to that the weather data that comes from your desktop from an Excel file, and now you have a model that joins 3 different data sets. None of them important except for the weather data, and they're all joined together and you can work with them. And this is something that you really have to take a look at. The people who took a look, some of our best MVPs like Marco Russo calls it the holy grail of business intelligence. And it says that this is game over, and you can just look at how popular that tweet was. Maybe the most popular tweet we've ever seen from our MVPs. So something is really, really exciting happening here, and it's really going to allow you to create some of the most sophisticated enterprise models and extend them and create this very flexible environment for your users. But it's more than just marketing. If you look at IT, you see that BI is just a part of the puzzle. There is a full stack analytics that any organization has to think about. Which vendors are they choosing? It's not just BI, it's machine learning, it's data warehousing, it's ETL, it's data catalog, it's integrated security and identity, it's integrated telemetry. And this is where Microsoft as a whole is providing the best of breed at every tier of the full stack of the analytics that you provide. And we at Power BI have been constantly integrating with more and more of those other Azure services in the stack, and to make sure that when you go and you choose Microsoft as your analytics vendor, you really feel that it's a single vendor approach, that it is giving you the benefit of built-in integration. So if you look at things like the integration we're doing with the Azure Data Catalog, the integration that we're doing with the Azure Log Analytics, where all the telemetry is coming from all the products in Azure into a single store, and then you can troubleshoot and trace and check for compliance and check for security and distribution and performance and all of that all in one place. The work we're doing with Synapse, that is just incredible. Both a UI integration level where you can build reports directly into the Synapse workspaces, or the integration we're doing, making sure that when people are using Power BI with Synapse together in a direct query mode, Power BI and Synapse work together to optimize the Synapse database with adding materialized views that's just matching the patterns of the queries of the Power BI users. Another top aspect of really meeting the strictest need of IT is security. And over the last year, we have been investing heavily in every aspect of security and trust. Microsoft has won, as everybody knows, the JEDI contract with the Department of Defense. And ever since, for the last 12 months, we have been building feature after feature after feature in order to satisfy maybe the most strictest requirements of security you can imagine. This is about national security. This is often about human lives that are on the line. And we have built, you can see here just some of the features that we have built into Power BI in order to really meet those standards. And we are now at a point where we really are satisfying these incredibly high criteria of this top secret data that has to be deposited into the system. And this is really not just meeting the needs of the Department of Defense, but also the Ministry of Defense in the United Kingdom, the FBI, and many other national security agencies around the world. Now, the reason why this is also important is if it can meet this level of trust for this national security, It means that it can also satisfy the most demanding financial institutions when they want to put their financial records in the cloud, or the healthcare providers when they want to put sensitive data, patient data into the cloud. We have the goods. We have invested so much into it, and because we had, frankly, $10 billion on the line, I don't think any other company could ever afford to make the same kind of investment that Microsoft made here. Now, all these features, some of them I cannot even explain. It's just I'm not a security expert. I'm a BI expert, but the chief security officers knows exactly how valuable and how important all these defense in depth that we have and multiple level of isolation and trust that we have that we can offer that nobody else can. What I think everybody can understand is the notion of sensitivity, and this is something that we all know. You know that you're getting, even in office, confidential documents, and confidential documents you cannot forward to other people, cannot export to people outside of the organization, and this is all done through the Microsoft Information Protection product. And Power BI has integrated with the Microsoft Information Protection, so it means that in the one place in the organization you manage all the integrated security policy management, audit, and compliance at the same place that you manage it for Office. So that same place also now applied to Power BI, which means that you can now mark Power BI reports and Power BI data sets with different sensitivity labels. And when you export it to other products, for example, to Excel, that the same sensitivity label and the same policy will apply both to your Power BI artifact and to the Excel file. So now we're going to open the Excel file after doing the export, and you can see the same high confidential label is applied here. Now this applies both ways. If Excel tries to connect from the desktop to Power BI to a data set, in this case we're looking at highly confidential data, then immediately the same label from the data source gets slapped onto your Excel document. So even if you come from Excel to Power BI, Excel inherits the label. And the same permission, the same policies apply. And then we can really go all the way, and we can start from the relational database. So if in the relational database, you're going to mark a column to be highly confidential, and you build a semantic model in Power BI against it. And when Power BI connects to that table, it will know that it's highly confidential, and then it will slap this label on the data set and then on the reports. And when you export the report to PowerPoint, it will automatically have the PowerPoint document have the same highly confidential sensitivity. So you really get the end-to-end protection all the way from Azure through Power BI to Office, no data leaks, completely secure. It's incredibly empowering, and making sure that the chief security officer is on your side when you put the system into production. Another aspect of Power BI that IT cares about is the cost of ownership. And a significant component of cost of ownership, of course, is how much does it cost. And we've been pioneers in lowering the cost of BI for decades. And Power BI Pro, when it came out with with the free desktop and $10 per user, were a revolution. In fact, if you look at Power BI in E5, it's really just $4 per user for the value component of Power BI. But the thing that really changed everything from IT's perspective was when we introduced Power BI Premium, which really provided both unlimited distribution, so users don't have to be individually licensed, and a whole host of enterprise features. And in fact, almost all the large customers that we have are using Power BI Premium. Now, what we're doing now, and we're just releasing for this conference, is the next generation of Power BI Premium. And the next generation of Power BI Premium is it's a direct upgrade of Power BI Premium. You don't have to pay more. It's a silent upgrade of it. But what it does, it is upgrading the performance of the system substantially, especially if you have a large scale, highly loaded system. You can get up to 10 times the performance. And it's really about a light out administration. The whole concept of you having to manage a resource and making sure that you don't overschedule it and you don't overload it, and this is going away. This is completely SaaS level management that you don't have to worry about. But you know, this is still challenging for some organizations, especially if you're looking at departmental level or small businesses and medium-sized businesses, because starting with $5,000 a month per node could be maybe a bit too much, especially if you start with the very beginning stages. So the other thing that we are introducing is something that we are very excited about, which is the premium per user offering. Now, I'm not going to release the price today, but I can tell you, it is not very expensive, and it really makes tons of sense when you have a smaller work group, maybe a few dozens of users, and it just becomes so much more affordable. And what's really incredibly cool about Premium per User, it gives you all the features of Power BI Premium P3, the same SKU that you would have had to pay $20,000 per month. Now you can get it for really affordable price per user. And if you, for example, if you have 30 or 40 users, with the price was unaffordable, even with the P1 SKU, not the P3 SKU, even the P1 SKU, now it's completely affordable for those users. So you have to wait for the price, but the excitement we are getting from smaller businesses, smaller deployments, Power BI, to really get all these host of features that Power BI Premium that offers, and now available on the per user basis, it's just unbelievable the level of energy we're seeing from the community. So we're very, very excited. So altogether, if you look at it, all the features that we provide to IT, the full stack integration we do with Azure, the security, and the distribution model makes Power BI something that is picked by 97% of the largest corporations in the world. And what we've been seeing over the last year, that it's more than just 97% of the companies are using us. We're seeing a massive scale motion of standardizing on Power BI on a regular basis. So this is becoming the industry standard for those very, very large companies. And these companies are including such companies like T-Mobile with over 50,000 active users, and they're really deploying it to every store, to every employee. It's just incredible what T-Mobile is doing, standardizing over Power BI as the main way of delivering insight. Companies like Humana, which is a large healthcare provider, is moving from 47 different systems and tools to Power BI and Azure and consolidating everything into that system. So incredibly large scale operation, in this case over 40,000 active users, and some of the largest brand names in the world. And in fact, those giant rollouts are today the growth engine of Power BI. This is where you'll find 3x year-over-year growth in these kind of massive deployments. So Power BI that started with a very kind of viral departmental adoption model is really now powering the largest organizations in the world at tens of thousands and sometimes 100,000 active users, which is just incredible and very, very gratifying. So the last thing I want to talk about is where we're heading, and especially it's important for the large organization, is how do we go into the new area, a new kind of audience. And this is very exciting because it's kind of almost like science fiction. How do we go and serve those people who are truly at the front line, people who wear those orange and yellow vests and the hard hats and protective goggles, and they use their hands. They're not sitting in offices. They're using their hands. They don't have laptops with them. They cannot even hold a phone when they work because they really are, construction worker, maintenance worker, assembly line workers. And this is where Microsoft should be investing in a large, pretty incredibly innovative device, which is the HoloLens device. We're now with the second version, HoloLens 2. And Power BI, we're investing in the future. I know most people don't have yet HoloLens 2, but sometimes that's one of the advantages of working at Microsoft, is that we can really make investment that will pay off sometimes years in the future. And we've been building a Power BI to support the HoloLens 2. Now, I wouldn't show it you, I wouldn't demo it to you unless this was something very, very special, because I know almost none of you have it yet. But when you look at this video, you're going to think about the Hollywood production. You don't think it's a complete fake, maybe a scene from Iron Man. But what I'm going to show you now is a demo of real production shipping code of the Power BI application for HoloLens 2. So let's watch this video. So this video has been recorded in the Israeli Development Center of Power BI. They have a beautiful new building in Herzliya in Israel, and this is the maintenance manager of the building. And you can see that he's using HoloLens 2, and there are reports hanging off his tool belt. So this is one report. Let's look down. Let's put it aside. Let's look down. Let's find the other report and pull it up. And this is a building status over time. You can see the multiple pages, so you can use his fingers to point and snap. And you can now look at different pages. Let's look at the case status here. And you can see that a lot of cases around the elevators. So we're going to head to the elevators hallway. And you see the status of the elevators hanging off the wall. This is virtual. It's not really there unless you have a HoloLens on. And you can see these screens in front of every one of those beautiful glass elevators that they have. So let's pull one of those screens. As you can see, this is not really a screen. This is actually a virtual screen showing on your HoloLens, augmented reality, and we're going to look at the pages, and we can now start to look at the various case status and analyze what's going on with this elevator, and maybe figure out what kind of maintenance is required. So it's just incredible. It does look like science fiction, but this is real running code of Power BI production. It's only been a prototype. Now we know that most of you don't have this kind of device, so we are working on a new version, a different version, one that maybe is not having the same sex appeal, but I think you'll feel that maybe this one is for you, because this one is using the phone. And whether it's, we're not talking about we're talking about a regular phone, an iPhone, or an Android phone. And instead of having these goggles on your eyes, just use your phones to anchor documents in space and browse documents in space. In this case, we're still in the same building. We're heading to the gym, and imagine that you're now wanting to track the usage of the equipment and the membership in the gym. So you can actually create those reports. In this case, this is a cardio report at the gym, and we are going to head to the gym, and we're using the regular phone camera. And we have this report that we picked from the Power BI mobile application, and we are going to place it in space. And we can just select the position and the size of the report and place it in space. And now we have to teach Power BI where is it in space. So we're just hanging, kind of rotating the camera in space. So now we kind of have a 3D map of the space. And at some point it says, "Yep, done. Your card is pinned. We know where you are." So now you are in the gym manager and you want to go to the space, you want to find that report. So you just go in and say, let's put the camera on, and it's going to look around, identify where it is, so figure out, oh, I'm in the gym. And notice that we have this radar here that tells you where the reports are. So you can see that we are heading towards this report, and it identifies us, figure out that we have permission to look at it. And notice on the radar, it tells us also other reports available hanging in space, the distance from us, so you can know where to look for them. And it's just incredible. Just a regular phone, no special hardware, and you get this complete set of enriched environment with all the information that you need in space. So you can imagine how this can change not just gym worker, but if you're in the assembly shop, if you are in the aisles in the grocery store, everywhere you need to have data in space. Overlapping real objects, this can be used. So we are incredibly excited about it. It's not yet shipping, it's still in the prototyping / early development phase, but it is incredibly promising. So with this, I want to thank you. I want you also to direct you to Priya Sathi's and Christian Wade's session about enterprise BI, which I think, and some of the work that the more of the work that we're doing with Synapse and with Azure overall, and a lot of the other enterprise features, I think you'll find way more information. But I think this session gives you a complete view of where we are heading, the various scopes of work that we're doing, whether it's for the individual, for the team, or for the whole organization, and how we think Power BI is going to continue to revolutionize the BI industry. Thank you very much.